Yes, today it is three Caballeros. I took one for the team. I watched both of them. Did anyone else watch the other one or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, great.
No, Black Mirror came out, so...
You made the right choice.
Sorry.
Since I'm the only one here that watched it, I'm just going to tell you all about what you missed
I'm dying to
in
know.
these 40 minutes. So, it's not even really that it's bad.
As long as you don't take 40 minutes to explain it.
I'll try to keep it to like at least 5 minutes. You could time me if you really want to.
No, I'm good.
It's not even that it's like bad quality-wise. It's just completely pointless. It tells about the Walt Disney animators taking a trip to Brazil to study the culture and to come up with ideas for new characters going forward.
Oh, I feel like this was like a precursor to the Three Caballeros.
It kind of is, because in that, I think towards the end of Saludos Amigos is when we first meet just Jose.
Oh.
Panchito doesn't come around till this one. So we get 2/3 of the Caballeros in that one. But I also didn't want to do it because we made this whole thing about we're done with shorts. This movie is 40 minutes disguised as a film, but it's just 4 shorts. It's just 4 shorts broken up with like clips of the cast, the animators going around Brazil and like drawing different dances and stuff like that. So
Yay.
yeah, I wouldn't want to put you all through that. But there's a reason why they did it though.
It actually doesn't sound so bad.
Well, like I said, it wasn't bad. It's just like we couldn't review it. We would have nothing to talk about with this.
That dancing is bad.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it was nice, the dancing in it. I mean, it's worth watching if you want to see, I guess. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, it's like a precursor to the Three Caballeros. But the reason why they made it, in early 1941, before U.S. entered World War II, the United States Department of State commissioned Disney on a goodwill tour of South America. The intention was, this movie was going to be shown in the U.S., Central America, and South America, part of the Good Neighbor policy. It was being done because several Latin American governments had close ties with Nazi Germany, and the U.S. government wanted to counter these ties and sort of persuade them onto their side. Why they chose Disney to send them down, I don't know. I guess it's just on a goodwill, you know.
Sure, why not?
The film was funded by federal government loans that Disney had recently overexpanded themselves into European markets, and they're also struggling on labor at the time due to the strike that's still going on.
Right.
So the movie's funded by the government. It makes it a little easier for them to make it. There's 4 shorts in it. The first one is just Donald visiting Lake Titicaca, just walking around, meeting the locals, and learning their customs. That's literally all that first short is. The next one is about Pedro, who is an anthropomorphic airplane, it's like a mama bear, papa bear, baby bear type thing, where like his dad's this big plane that he carries all the mail across Brazil. Ooh. The mom, I don't know what the mom does, but like the dad is like sick one day, so like Pedro has to step in for his dad, and he has to like bring the mail across Brazil, like, and battle this like evil monster, like mountain while it's raining. Yeah, then we get El Guacho Goofy, it's just another Goofy short, and it's like showcasing the similarities between like an American cowboy and I think it was an Argentinian cowboy. But it's just like the narrator again, Goofy, the same stuff that we did last time. And then the last one is where we meet Jose, and it's just really him teaching Donald how to samba.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Is Donald good at it?
I don't remember.
Oh.
So I would imagine not. Just from his character, probably not.
Well, just from his dancing in this one, I would say probably not.
Wait, so these shorts didn't even really have like storylines to them? It's just
teaching
you how to dance?
The storyline, I guess, is like let's observe the Disney animators as they. The purpose of the film is like I said, it's to make good like peace with like Brazil and like South America,
showcase their cultures and stuff. Yeah.
But it also like serves the importance on the American front, because this is gonna sound really bad, but this is like literally what I saw written about the film. The perception of South American countries at this time was that they were kind of like mostly rural and like poorly inhabited, poorly dressed, like peasants almost. That like yeah. So when this film is like shown to Americans, they're almost surprised to see these vibrant cultures, these like really built up cities, and like.
Your 5 minutes is up.
Yep. Did you really time me?
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay, I'll wrap this up. I'm a man of my word. So yeah, they were just surprised to see that it was very much similar to their culture, just not what they pictured, I guess.
Wow.
No, that's interesting though. I mean, makes sense.
I guess so. Well, my 5 minutes are up, so I guess I'm done with Saludos Amigos.
No, if you had other thoughts, we'd love to hear them.
No. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the background that you really need on it before you go into this. So Three Caballeros holds the honor of being the first feature film to have animated characters interacting with live action characters. We saw a little bit kind of similar to this in The Reluctant Dragon, but none of the characters were interacting. It was just going back and forth between live action and animation.
Okay.
It's more. This is more like what you think of when you think of like with Mary Poppins.
Right, yeah.
So this was the first one to do it.
Okay.
It would get mixed reviews from audiences upon its release, which I think is pretty fair because I think it has mixed reviews at this table.
Why?
Right? Most critics weren't favorable of the content of the film. They thought it was a step down from prior films and was more flash than substance, which I think is pretty fair. They were impressed with the technical achievements in the film, like the live-action animated sequences and the sort of paintbrush animation in real time as scenes are playing out. But they just felt like story-wise, it was a step down from like Pinocchio and you know these films that like are really character-centric.
Yeah.
Another complaint from viewers was the sort of sexual dynamics in the film.
Yeah.
Specifically, Donald Duck lusting over Latinos throughout the whole film, basically,
literally.
any chance he gets.
Literally.
But it was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. It was Best Scoring of a Musical Picture and Best Sound Recording, both of which they would lose.
Good. I don't know what they lost to, but good, because they didn't deserve an Academy Award.
Box office-wise, I couldn't find a budget, oddly enough, of how much it cost to make, but it brought in about $3.35 million, so relatively successful, I guess you would say. Currently, it holds 83% rating on Rotten Tomatoes through critics and 65% through audiences, which I tend to trust the audiences more than the critics sometimes.
Wait, I know we've discussed this before, but how does Rotten Tomatoes work?
It's out of 100%. Closer to 100% is better.
Okay.
So like yeah,
you-
it's counterintuitive the way that you're thinking of it, because Rotten Tomatoes, you would think the higher percentage is that means that it's more rotten, but actually
when you
because
get
the
higher-
tomatoes are sitting there, so
When you get a
got it.
higher rating, they call it like certified fresh, which is like it might be like 75% or higher gets that kind of rating. I forget what it is. And then like
Why
anything
would it be
lower
certified fresh because
they're not
because they're not rotten. Rotten Tomatoes are like the bottom view. They're like
I thought
reviews.
you wanted more Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, you would. I understand your thought process on it.
I think you're getting too hung up on the name Rotten Tomatoes. Just think percentage out of 100.
Okay.
So
It's very
like
bizarre.
test taking.
I get
Higher
it.
Yeah.
the better.
I understand.
So what was the percentages again? I'm sorry.
For critics, it holds an 83% approval rating.
Some people are a little they're brown nosing over there.
Well, see, I feel like with these reviews, like I actually like the audience reviews for Rotten Tomatoes more for older stuff because I feel like they're a little more current day. But like, I feel like when you get to these like old Disney films, people just like have nostalgia about like, oh, how groundbreaking this film was, and that's why I give it a high rating. But like, it's shit. It's a shit film. Like it's just shit.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining. Like it doesn't hold up to today's.
It was
standards.
honestly so boring. I watched it when I was watching it. I was texting you and I was texting them and I was like, "What is this? What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
Finally, one more thing we like to do is where can the Three Caballeros be found in the parks?
Mexico, the Epcot.
Yep, Grand Fiesta Tour starting the Three Caballeros is probably the most known place to find
the
them.
only way I knew them.
And a lot of parts of the film are like, oh, they look like direct pickups of the ride.
Yeah, it makes the ride make so much more
yeah,
sense.
Obviously, the film
honestly.
came out way before the ride, but
Yeah.
like, if you've never seen the film, it's like, oh my god, that's from the ride. That's literally from the ride.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
The minute I saw like the animation and the live action, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
Yeah.
why the ride is so cheesy.
Yeah.
They
Have you seen a duck?
You get the amazing acting by the cook
Yeah.
and the waiter. It was
Yeah.
like,
With the knife, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy I was saying.
they can also be found on posters inside Mickey's Philhar Magic, Coronado Springs. They have a fountain there, and at All-Star Music Resort, they have a fountain at the Calypso Pool as well.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Cool.
Three Caballeros. Magical gifts from his friends send Donald on a musical journey. Released on December 21st, 1944. Oh, this is 1944. I'm sorry. I thought we jumped ahead. Well,
Well,
I
we
struck
didn't.
that. No, we didn't. We're still in 1944.
You suck.
No, I know what it is. The next film that we review, that's a jump to 1947.
Ah.
But we'll get to that later. Released on December 21st, 1944 in Mexico City, Mexico. Rated G with a runtime on Disney Plus of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 54 seconds.
Longest hour, 11 minutes and 54 seconds of my life.
Directed by Norman Ferguson, Clyde Geronimi, Jack Kinney, Bill Roberts, and Harold Young. Produced by Walt Disney. Distributed by RKO Radio Pictures.
Okay, who?
RKO. Starring Clarence Nash, Jose Oliveira, and Joaquin Garay. Starts off with the dreaded Disney disclaimer message for negative depictions and or mistreatment of people of cultures.
Yep. I love those.
Yeah, those are always fun. You always know you're in for a good time then.
Yeah.
Opening credits kick us off with the Three Caballeros song playing while also introducing the Three Caballeros themselves. We got Donald Duck, Jose Carioca, and Panchito Pistoles, but they only list him as Panchito in this. Panchito, excuse me.
Yeah, dude, you can't speak.
I don't speak Spanish. I'm gonna try so hard.
Actually, out of all of us, you do speak the most Spanish.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't speak any Spanish. I can count to 10.
I took French in high school.
I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm going to try to pronounce a lot of this and get it terribly wrong. Panchito is the last one. After the credits, we open up with a package with a tag on it wrapped up for Donald on his birthday.
And it's in Spanish.
It's in Spanish. It's Donald's 10th birthday, and this is because it's Donald's 10th anniversary as a Disney character.
Actually, it might not have been Spanish. It might have been Portuguese.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
they spoke Portuguese.
But it was nice that they tied that in Donald's 10th anniversary. It's his 10th year being a character in Disney's universe, whatever you want to call it.
It was Friday the 13th.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was.
I noticed that.
Yep.
When's his birthday though? Because it was Friday the 13th, but what was it? It's fine. I'll Google it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, look it up real quick.
When is Donald Dick's?
Donald Dick.
I like that better than Donald Duck. Donald Dick.
What?
It's
June 9th?
but in the movie it was the 13th of whatever.
June 9th.
No.
So I guess that's not.
1934.
So I guess like the date.
Well, we got the 10th
Oh, no, it
anniversary.
says Donald Duck made his first screen debut on June 9th, 1934 in The Little Wise Hen. And this takes place in 1944, so it was his 10-year birthday, but they're off by a few days.
Yeah.
So his friends were a little late getting him his presents. I guess.
The mail. That plane that delivers the mail from the other show.
The daddy plane.
Yeah.
Donald, very excited by the gesture, unwraps his giant box and opens it up to find more wrap boxes.
Yeah.
Yay! The gift that keeps on giving, huh, Clark?
He pulls out the first gift, and it's a film projector with home movies that come with it. Donald, excited to see what films have been sent him, sets up the projector and starts the reel.
I just don't understand how this was related to any of the other two presents.
It wasn't. It's like Disney just is adamant.
None of it made any sense.
Disney is like adamant on getting these shorts in any way that they can. They're disguising them as films now to trick us all these years later. Let's see. The narrator on the film begins to speak, and the opening title says Aves Raras, which translates to strange birds.
Ooh.
The narrator...
Alex's favorite.
This was the only part I liked, actually.
Get out of here, really?
The guy on the penguin look guy, Pablo?
Yes, Pablo.
Yeah, I thought it was cute. The rest of it, I was like, fuck this.
Well, this part, I was like, oh, this is rough. And then when I got through the rest of the movie, I'm like, oh, what was I thinking? I was like, I should have appreciated what I had when I had it.
This film was treading on thin ice with me after watching Saludos Amigos, and then they start out with another short. I was ready to skip this one too and move on to something else.
Yeah.
The narrator tells Donald that he has more relatives here than coffee beans in Brazil.
And who was the narrator?
Well, there's two narrators.
Yeah.
There's a narrator to introduce another narrator.
Okay, yeah. The other narrators.
The other narrator, you want to tell me who it is?
No, I forgot their name.
Okay. It's Professor Holloway, a.k.a. Sterling Holloway.
Yeah.
The voice of... Give me some. You
Pooh,
pick any
Ka.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, Ka is what I think of.
Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
I think of
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, and then I think of
Mr.
Ka.
Stork.
Yeah.
You know the voice. Everybody knows the voice. Right?
Yep.
I like his voice. It's very unique.
He does have a nice voice.
Yeah.
Very soothing.
The short is called The Cold-Blooded Penguin. Sterling takes us way down south of the South Pole where we're introduced to penguins. We see them ice fishing, skating, sleigh riding, and enjoying their lives, but all but one penguin named Pablo. Pablo, unlike other penguins, desires to be warm. In his igloo home, he has a fully functioning furnace called Smoky Joe.
Named his furnace.
He's bundled. Pablo is also bundled up in gloves, a scarf, and a winter hat. And he has a burning desire to spend his life somewhere tropical and warm.
Like Olaf.
Yeah, but I really think Pablo just wants to run away. If I'm being honest, I don't think it has anything to do with the weather. He just wants to run away.
Okay.
He's
And I
definitely
understand.
he's definitely an outcast among the other
Yeah.
penguins.
He's like, fuck this. I don't like you. I don't like your cold. I want to be where the warm is.
You know, if you think about it,
Be where the warm people
Yeah.
this is like a Disney story to a T. I live somewhere. I'm different than everybody else. I want to travel somewhere else
like,
and
I
find
wanna run
myself.
away.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he sets out to travel to an island of his dreams. After a few unsuccessful tries, he
And what is he riding on?
I don't know, because there's like 5 different ways
His
that he tries to
iceberg.
I
leave.
think it's an iceberg.
Yeah, he like cut out a
yeah.
chunk of ice.
Yeah, he cuts out a chunk of ice as like a boat
The whole
with
time.
his igloo, by the way.
The whole time I was waiting for it to melt, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I thought this was ice. Why doesn't it melt? But I don't want to jump too far ahead.
As he travels and gets closer, he encounters a heavy layer of fog, but when the fog lifts, he finds himself just north of the Chile's rocky coast. So he made it pretty far. I don't know how long it's been, but
And he followed that paper map the whole time. I'd never be able
Yeah.
to do that.
He did good, Pablo.
In the ocean.
That's all I can think of. Yeah, like I'm like, where are your markers? Like, how do you know you're
The
going to the right
stars.
spot? I don't know, man. I just know I'd be lost at sea.
he continues to travel day and night looking for his final destination. He travels all up the coast, passing all the nearby cities of Chile. He then crosses the equator with the help of King Neptune, and finally finds himself...
Yeah, because the equator was like, nope.
It's like a line, and he's like, here you go. You may
Looked
you
at it
shall
before,
pass.
yeah.
He has to pay the troll toll.
Yep.
Finally, he finds himself... he finds himself on his ice boat, enjoying the hot sun. He takes off his winter clothes and sunbathes on his floating ice island. Only problem is that his igloo home melts away with... it melts the island that he's been sailing on.
Yeah.
And all that he's left with is his bathtub.
Yep. The only problem is he's not friends with Elsa, and that's really the big issue here.
Or Ariel.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Pablo falls into his bathtub, which begins to sink when the plug comes undone. So he fixes the issue by he like rips off his shower rod.
Yeah, and he like
Head.
the shower head, and he shoves it in the drain.
Yeah, and it causes the to come out the head.
Yeah.
Shoots out into the water, and now he's like being like propelled forward
He's got
by the water.
Speedboat now.
Yeah. It's
Very
like a
nifty.
jet element.
They should
Yeah.
have just made that be his boat the whole time.
Yep.
But whatever.
Nobody thinks. That's why. He didn't have room for the furnace is really the problem.
Oh,
which he was going to
Smoky
need on his
Joe.
hot island.
Yeah, for real. But he was just loyal. It was like a pet to him, I guess.
Won't go
He
anywhere
named
without
it.
Smokey
He
Joe.
named it. But Smokey Joe
probably
was
needed
lost
it.
at sea.
It literally sounds like something Donald Trump would tweet.
Yeah, it does.
Smokey Joe.
Joe.
As he continues to travel the ocean at a new speed, he spots an island in the distance. Pablo has finally reached his desired destination, away from everybody and away from civilization, except for one lone turtle, which is like serves as his like slave, I guess, or whatever, because he's just like bringing
That's
gifts
terrible.
in. All right, serves as his work assistant. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll try that again.
Housekeeper.
Yeah.
Indentured servant.
He's just bringing drinks to Pablo back and forth from wherever he's getting the drinks from. Who knows?
Maybe it pays him a fair wage.
Maybe. Pablo is beet red now and sweating, but he seems to enjoy it.
They call him tan and happy and healthy, and
Bro,
I'm like,
he's
he's
cooked.
red. Yeah, like
He's
Wait,
sunburnt.
you missed the whole part where he almost died.
When did he almost die?
When his iceberg melted and then his bathtub was sinking and then the thing popped out, that the stopper popped out, and he had all this water shooting out from under it, so he ripped off the shower head and stuck it in the bathtub, and then he used it as a motorboat. What a genius. This is why he was my favorite.
Thank you, Alex. I missed all of that.
Wait, did you? You just said it all? I'm sorry.
But I appreciate your contribution. Thank you.
okay, moving on. Oh god.
I was like, when did he? I'm like, when he was underwater trying to get the water out of his tongue? I don't know.
I got really worried. I was like, what did I do?
Oh man.
It's all right.
Me and Vicky just look at each other like, she's here, but
Yeah. Poor Alex.
it's okay. She woke up right before she got here. Probably, I'm assuming.
Yeah, a little while before.
Pablo reminisces over pictures from the South Pole and seems to slightly miss his old home.
Damn. Never satisfied. Grass is always greener.
I know.
The original narrator comes on and acknowledges that it is human nature to never be satisfied,
Even though he's a penguin.
and apparently for penguins too, which Donald agrees with as the short comes to an end. And yes, shorts in this film that we're reviewing. Yeah.
They tricked us.
They did.
They did, and it doesn't even take... What? What do you got for me?
Keep going.
No.
We did miss something, and I just don't understand it.
Okay,
When he
go.
looks through it's a periscope, and he sees this random guy on an island.
Oh!
Who was that guy, and
Um,
what was that?
Someone Crusoe.
Jacques.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, I do remember that now. I guess what? Somebody already had that island, so he didn't want to go there? Is that what...
Yeah, but, well, that
but
wasn't
he
his
was, like,
island.
known for something.
Yeah, hold on, I forget what it is.
I didn't understand that part. I was like, how does he know of this guy? And how is this guy living in just a hut with one palm tree on this random island?
I don't know, sounds like he's living the life.
It was Crusoe, Robinson Crusoe.
Robinson Crusoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him. That's who it was. Never mind. Robinson Crusoe tells the true story, and the air quotes is important because, like, when you're reading it, you're supposed to think it's true, but it's not true.
Okay.
It's fictional. Narrated retrospectively in the first person of a young Englishman who, against the wishes of his parents, set sail on a dangerous sea voyage. Daniel Defoe's novel draws on contemporary travel narratives and tales of real-life castaways such as Alexander Selkirk.
Oh.
So I guess, like, in the book, he becomes a castaway.
They should just put the Swiss Family Robinson there.
Right? Damn! Do you want to know the ending of the book?
He dies.
No.
It was based on a book.
What was?
The Castaway?
Oh.
It was
Okay. So Crusoe returns to Europe where he becomes...
I know you don't read the book, I'm sorry.
where he comes into a great deal of money from his sugar plantations. He then gets married, has children, and eventually revisits his island. So I guess he lives on an island as a castaway at some point in the middle of the book, and then leaves, comes back to Europe, is filthy rich, and then
And now has an island.
Yep.
Interesting.
That book sounds terrible. I probably didn't include it because I saw it in the short and I was like, I don't care.
There was too much other stuff to care about.
The narrator then transitions us right over to the next short. No break at all. It's the Flying Guachicho.
I hated this one.
In the depths of the jungle of the Amazon, you will find many exotic birds. Toucans, scissor birds, and the aracuan.
I like that one.
I fucking hated this bird.
I
Why?
hated all the birds. After 5 minutes of just fucking birds, I was like, this can't be real. This cannot be real.
This bird is just Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah.
That's all this bird
really,
is.
really, seriously, that's exactly what
And
I
Woody
thought.
Woodpecker came at first, I'll just have you know.
I like Woody Woodpecker.
The Aracuan is known for the song he sings, just like most annoying... It's just a collection of noises, that's all it is. He doesn't sing at all, he just makes noise. I mean, he's a bird, I guess, but I hated this bird. I was worried this bird was going to be all over the film the whole way through. And he was only the whole way there, like, for maybe, like, halfway through the film. Then we just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
Why do you like this bird?
I don't know. I think it's cute.
Because he was pink?
No.
Well,
I didn't even notice that he was pink.
He's pink or like red.
are you
something
sure
like
it's
that.
the right bird?
The one that, like, pops in and has, like, the big red, like, tuft and he, like, makes the noise and then dances around the screen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
fucks with the railroad,
Yeah.
the train
Yeah.
tracks.
Yep.
Voice of the bird, by the way, is Pinto Colvig. Same voice as Goofy. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Then the narrator asked Donald if he would like to hear a story about another bird so amazing you wouldn't believe it.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Can we just reflect really quick on the toucan thing? They were talking about how the toucan's beaks couldn't,
Oh yeah.
like,
they couldn't
inflicted on the
kiss.
lovemaking, and I was like, what?
Yeah. The beaks prevented them from being able to like canoodle with each
Yeah,
other.
and I was just like, that's such a weird thing to put in this movie, but okay.
I wonder if it's true.
I don't know. We should test it out. Get some toucans and see if they can mate.
We can ask Toucan Sam.
Yeah.
They can mate, but they just can't. Like
Nuzzle, like kiss.
yeah. They just,
Toucan can't.
anyone can just stick parts in where they fit. Like, but it's
Like a
the
puzzle.
yeah. But their big noses, beaks, get in the way of their like snuggling.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a story about another bird so amazing you won't believe it?
Yeah.
Do I?
No, let's move on.
Oh, this one.
Anyway, so.
This
All
one's
right.
a little bit better. I had to watch it, I think, 3 times, though, to, like, comprehend.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you. Early morning in springtime Uruguay. We then meet the narrator when he was a little guachicho.
Oh, I hated this.
He is the little guachicho. He's up early to go hunting for birds, but not actual hunting. I guess just like bird watching. He didn't have a gun or anything with him, so I guess he just wanted to find birds.
No, I don't think that they hunted with them. He had, like, the little
Oh, he wanted to
string
capture
on the
birds.
rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
The narrator introduces traditional South American clothes for the viewer as he sets off for the mountains. He's looking high up in the mountains for condors, searching on top of rocks, looking everywhere for nests. He spots a nest up on one rock, but discovers inside is instead a flying donkey.
What are the odds?
A burro.
A burro. The little guachicho tries to capture the donkey but struggles. Eventually he manages to hop on top of it and attempts to tame him as his own.
It literally looked like a thing out of Fantasia. Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was the same thing that was, like, accompanied with, the wine god.
Oh, with the centaurs?
Yeah. But, like, no, like, that same clip, but, like, when all the gods and goddesses are, like, partying and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And, like, the big fat guy,
Yeah. I know what you're talking
the
about.
god of wine.
It was
Yeah.
definitely something.
He
Drunk off his ass.
Yeah, he rode on, like, a donkey, I think, and I think it was a flying donkey. I think it was this donkey.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of Fantasia influences in this movie, actually.
There
It feels
were.
like it a lot of times.
Yeah.
We fast forward and see that he has successfully trained the donkey as his own, but he has it flying up in the sky, although tied to a string.
Why can't you just, like, let things be? Why do you gotta own everything?
I know. He's like, I'm going to make a fortune off of this. And he, like, was going to sell him. Then he befriended him.
The burrito, which means little donkey, learns new tricks every day.
Which means little donkey.
Why didn't anyone think, food-wise,
Yeah, I didn't. But really though, so when we eat a burrito, it's like, does that same mean little donkey?
I guess we'll never know. Because I didn't look it up.
You did a whole lot of research, I can tell.
Yeah, I know. I didn't.
He was over it. After the Saludos, whatever the fuckers they were called.
I've actually noticed that depending on the film, like, my desire to look up more information, like, just plummets.
That is so not
Here's the
good.
definition of a burrito. A Mexican dish consisting
No, look up burrito donkey. I guarantee you it'll come up.
burrito
Little
donkey definition.
Shrek. I'm a donkey, Shrek. I love that movie.
The word burrito is I don't know how to pronounce this word.
Diminutive.
Diminutive form of Spanish burro, meaning little donkey. Unfortunately, no one is sure exactly how the food got to be named after the pack animal.
Okay. Well, that's all we need. That's all I
That
wanted
no
to
one
know.
knows.
Probably America's doing.
Yeah,
Probably.
Probably our
Probably.
fault. The burrito learns new tricks every day and bonds with his new owner, and the two quickly become very good friends. The next morning, we see in the city it is the day of the fiesta. Locals are dancing in the street, playing instruments and games. There is also a race that is going to be taking place, the Gran Carrera, which translates to the Great Race,
Cool.
with a prize of 1,000 pesos to the winner.
A burrow
Damn.
race.
The little guachicho and his burrito enter the race, much to the amusement of this table and the other horses and jockeys. As the starting gun shoots to start the race, all the other horses take off, but Burrito is still at the starting line.
That's okay, Rocky. You go when you're ready.
The little guachicho tries to get him going in the right direction, but he is traveling at a prancing pace and not moving very quick
They
at all.
look kind of cute, though.
Yeah.
Crowd laughs more as the little donkey can't run very fast. The other horses have made their turn around the corner. So it's like a race where you go to one end, you loop around, and then you come back to where you started. So they've made their turn around the corner, and they're now headed back to the finishing line. Realizing that they're in trouble of losing, the little guachicho takes off the cover on his burrito, revealing that it has wings.
Cheater.
He cheated, exactly.
Didn't he know it had wings from the beginning? We knew it had wings.
No, he knew.
I don't think they were going to allow him to race if he showed up with a donkey.
I mean, like,
with wings.
does it say that in the rule book? How often does one come across a flying donkey?
Legal loophole. They never explicitly stated
Yeah.
no flying donkeys.
That's right.
So Burrito takes off at a blazing speed, catching up to the field. He flies past the field and wins the race with ease in the matter of like seconds.
Yep.
When he goes to collect his prize, the burrito takes off flying into the sky with little Guachicho still attached to it. The rest of the field, realizing that they've been cheated, angrily yell at him as they fly away off into the sky, never to be seen again, without their prize money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so we didn't win the
So,
prize.
assumably, I assume all these men fought over $60 US dollars. And that's
It
how
might be a
the,
lot to them.
maybe, yeah.
And back then, it probably was a lot.
Yeah. And that's how the short ends.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And Donald, that was his gift.
Yep.
What a shit gift.
Be like,
Or a
thanks.
third of his gift.
Whoever sent me this gift.
Back to Donald now. He sees another present is glowing inside and playing music. He opens it up to find a pop-up book, and inside the book is his friend that we saw in Saludos Amigos, Jose.
Jose!
I hated Jose.
Oh, wait. Sorry. $58 in 1944, that's the year you said, right?
Yes.
Is equivalent to $1,000 today. So not that
All
much.
right, so 1,000.
But
All right.
enough for a donkey race.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Continue.
He opens up the pop-up book and finds Jose inside. Jose asks Donald if he's ever been to Bahia.
Which, by the way, when I was looking up this place, all that I could find, it's spelled with an H.
It is spelled with an H. There's a lot. It really comes off as like American ignorance. There's a lot of cities spelled wrong in this short. They're constantly missing letters everywhere.
Is it not just spelled differently in Portuguese?
Well, I was looking up, and I mean, yeah, but like they should have been writing it in Portuguese. Like,
Yeah, I
on
guess.
on the short. Right?
Yeah. I guess if it's a proper noun too, it should be the same. Right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. I don't know. Everything. I couldn't find any spelling without the H online. So.
The Eric Wan's back.
Yeah.
He interrupts Jose, takes his cigar.
All I'm gonna say is, if I had to hear Jose ask Donald if he's been to Bahia one more fucking time, I was gonna go to Bahia. Okay.
Have you ever been to Bahia?
I have not, and I heard it's an amazing place. So everything I was looking, it's apparently very beautiful.
Like current day? Yeah.
Yes, like for real, it's very beautiful. It has a lot of like history and old buildings and stuff. It's supposed to be very nice to visit.
It sounds nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
What is
Jose's been telling us.
Yeah.
No one listens to Jose.
Well, Jose's never been there either, apparently.
Oh, really?
Well,
Jose's been there.
No, because then Donald goes, Jose, like he asked him, he's like, have you been to Bahia? And Jose goes, no. And Donald goes, well, let's go.
That's so weird.
Did you guys even watch the movie?
I did, but I just assumed that he's been there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It's just fucking misery.
And how did he know about all of the people there? He's like, oh, that's Yaya. She sells cookies. Like, how did he know
I don't
if
know.
he's never been there?
Everybody
knows Yaya.
I personally think that
Jesus.
Jose just has a bad memory, but whatever.
Everybody's going to Bahia for the cookies from Yaya.
And I was texting Dan while I was watching it, and I was like, leave the Yaya alone, let her sell her goddamn cookies. This poor
Honestly,
lady.
I thought from watching this movie that I would have the three caballeros stuck in my
no.
head, but no, I just have
Kume.
stuck in my head.
No, the Three Caballeros song doesn't really play all that much.
No,
all
and when
things
it does,
considered.
it's different than what's in the ride. And
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so
backtracking, so they go to Bahia.
they go to Bahia. He takes us through the pop-up book into the map. Music begins to play.
They blue skidoo into the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's actually there's the Bahia song, which is literally just like pictures of Bahia.
Yeah.
Like that's all it is. They
Yeah.
don't really go anywhere in there. And that's when they come back. And then Donald joins them to go on a trip to Bahia. And the two shrink down to size, jump into the pop-up book, and they catch a train that looks a lot like the Casey Jr. train, I feel like. And the train's supposed to take them to Bahia, but the Araquan fucks everything up for them by drawing tracks everywhere.
Yeah.
And Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway style, just splits up the train and everything's going in every direction.
Damn.
Can't believe you like this bird.
I know. Such a nuisance.
He had some interest in the plot.
No, he didn't. The pair hear a woman singing in the distance, and Jose tells Donald that it's Yaya.
Is that her name or is that what she is?
That's her name as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yaya is live action. She's a live action woman who sells cookies. She's played by Aurora Miranda.
She's a real girl.
She's a real girl. She's a Brazilian singer and actress. Her appearance here is probably what audiences know her best for. She's also credited for the unofficial anthem of Rio de Janeiro. Oh. So I guess an icon in Brazil, I guess you would say.
Cool.
She sings to the pair and offers some cookies, and Donald is instantly in love, a theme that would carry out all throughout this film with any woman he meets. He falls in love a lot,
and I just feel bad for Daisy because.
Yeah, I'd like to remind everybody Daisy exists at this point.
Yeah.
The two follow Yaya and try to get her attention as they dance down the street together.
Just take your cookies and leave her alone.
Well, they miss their chance because soon they're joined by a lot of male dancers who are very, very happy to see Yaya and her cookies.
Can we talk about the tangerine guy? Did anybody notice him?
Yeah, where Donald tried to smack him with the hammer.
Did he not, to anyone else, look like, what's his name, Sasha Baron Cohen? Baron Cohen.
Oh, I don't know.
Which is, he's...
Borat.
Borat.
Oh.
He literally looked exactly like him, and I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So the male dancers sing, and they all try to get Yaya's attention. They're playing instruments for her. They're trying to serenade her. She turns down a guy who's playing a guitar, and it zooms in on his face, and he just squints, and he's like, "Oh, I'll get you, bitch, for this," and just
yeah,
leaves.
that was weird.
Yaya must have the best cookies over there in Bahia because, everybody be wanting her cookies.
That's what I hear. Next up is a gentleman who plays the pencil.
No, what about the trumpet guy?
What trumpet guy?
There's a guy leaning against the wall, and he's playing his trumpet, and then his hat goes
Oh,
up
yeah,
his
yeah,
head,
there's that guy
and then
too.
it comes back down.
Yeah.
Symbolism?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was really distracted by this pencil.
No, but
guy.
the pencil guy really, I remember him too.
He plays the pencil with his teeth.
Was it actually a pencil?
I don't think so.
It looked like a pencil, was it not?
I don't think it was really a pencil. I think it just looked like a pencil.
It looked like a pencil. It was too thin to be like a flute or a piccolo.
Well, he's just clanging it against his teeth.
Yeah, I thought it was. You ever see those things like what Michael has with the frog that's wood?
Yeah, I thought he was doing that against his teeth.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Oh, so I thought he was with the pencil, playing it like a flute.
I don't think so.
No,
but I don't know. Maybe
because that's also not how you play the flute.
Yeah. So.
It's also not how you play a pencil. Donald is relentless trying to dance with Yaya. Just as he's about to go for a kiss, this is where the man with the tangerines, the basket on his head, he starts singing, and Yaya just is immediately, lured in by this guy.
Yeah, she likes his produce.
Yeah. Donald turns green with anger, and Jose calms him down, but also gives him a hammer to whack him on the head.
Wait, Dan. Green is envy, red is anger.
Yeah.
He turned green, and he was angry.
I know, so that's what I was thinking.
I'm just telling you what I saw. He was angry, and he was green.
Yeah.
And he had horns for some reason, too.
Yeah.
Ooh, devil.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jose's like, calm down, dude.
They got
here's
the
a hammer.
colorblind animator for that
Go
one.
whack him on the head. Well, he ultimately misses and clunks himself on the head instead. Everybody is dancing together in the square with Yaya and her cookies. Just then, the man with the guitar, who she turned away earlier, comes back, and he brought the bitches with him. He's got all these women for all these men. And they all pair up with all the women that he brought.
Wow.
And the party leaves with everyone except Yaya.
Damn.
So he got her at the end. He showed her.
I feel like we're making this sound a lot more interesting than it actually
know.
is.
No, this is exactly how it went.
Well,
I mean, that sounds pretty scandalous
I'm
the way
not making-
Dan just told the
Yeah,
story.
I'm not making any of this up. This is exactly what happened.
Honestly, if we're making it sound interesting, I think we're doing our job pretty well.
Someone had to make this interesting. So the party leaves without Yaya, and this is Donald's opportunity to move in on her.
Poor Yaya.
I know. She got saddled with the duck. Donald brings a bouquet of flowers, which Yaya happily accepts because there's
Not
no one else
really,
there
though.
anymore. Well, she plants a kiss on him.
She kisses him and then walks away, and he's like still there with the flowers.
He's stun locked. He can't move.
Yeah.
And then everybody just leaves. We then transfer to another party that Yaya has returned to, so I guess she caught up with the group. Two guys fight for her attention in the form of dancing. They're fighting
To
through
dance
dancing.
off.
They're dueling.
Yeah, and the lighting, it like turns them back and forth into like chickens, like cockfighting almost.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's what I thought it
They
was.
looked like phoenixes to me.
That's probably a little better. It looked like cockfighting to me.
Oh my god.
Yaya leads a dance down the street of Bahia again, with the whole town moving and grooving before the pop-up book closes and ends
they're
the song.
smushed. To death.
And we never know what happens to Yaya.
Bye, Yaya.
Or her cookies.
Damn. Did anyone even try a cookie? Maybe they were terrible.
I did not see anybody eating any of the cookies.
Then who
You know
the
what's
fuck
so
knows?
funny is that when Yaya walked by the first time with, like, she passed Donald and Jose, she's just like singing her song. She's not even like, "Do you want to buy my cookies?" She's just
Yeah.
like holding her cookies on her head, singing, and then they like are swooning and just like looking at her.
Come
and
here, come
then,
here, come here.
And then she just walks away. She's like, "I guess they're not gonna buy any cookies, but like, how do they know that they're for sale?"
I don't know.
I don't know. That was one of my pet peeves. She's not a very good businesswoman.
No.
Well, I mean, she does get sexually harassed a lot, so maybe she just doesn't want to draw attention to herself. Maybe they were cookies for her. Maybe she was like, I just bought these cookies, and I'm bringing them home, and now all these people are fucking bothering me.
Oh, damn, there goes Yaya again with the cookies.
Oh, yeah.
I looked them up. They were supposed to be like some kind of like pineapple cookie, I think. I don't know.
That sounds good.
terrible. Oh.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I
Oh.
hate pineapple cookies.
Have you ever
I
had
mean,
a pineapple
I meant to
cookie?
say I hate pineapples,
Oh.
so I've never had a pineapple cookie.
Jose manages to pull himself and Donald out of the book. Donald has fallen in love with Bahia now. He goes to open his remaining presents, but he can't reach them because they're still small from when Jose shrunk them down. Donald even calls himself and Jose midgets,
Yes.
which
I'm a
was...
midget. And I was like, what?
I did the same thing. I was like, what?
Excuse me? Little person. You are a little person. And that's not even... Whatever.
Yeah.
It's not even accurate.
No, they just shrunk.
Like Alice.
Yeah. Jose uses a little black magic
Is it
to
like Alex?
Alice.
Alice.
Like Alice in Wonderland?
Oh, when did Alex shrink?
No.
Okay,
Damn, that's mean.
I'm not getting any taller.
But are you shrinking?
Not that I know of.
I think you're good.
Jose uses a little black magic to transfer himself back to normal size. Donald gives it a try himself, but struggles with the spell, and instead inflates himself disproportionately, much to the amusement of Jose. Jose eventually helps him out and gets him back to normal size.
He's like, you used the wrong finger.
Oh, well,
He
pardon
got
me.
like no instructions whatsoever.
Yeah.
My bad.
Donald goes to open his next present, and the Three Caballeros theme plays. Only one remaining, and sure enough, he pops out. It's Panchito blasting his way through the picture with his pistols. Interesting to note, Panchito never introduces himself and never says his name. The only way that we know is from the opening credits, but he never even tells him what his name is.
Well, why wouldn't you know who he is? Like, you just know who he is.
Yeah, but
No,
we've
they
never
did,
been
apparently.
introduced. That was the other thing. Yeah, how we don't really know how Donald, Panchito, and Jose
I just kind of assumed they were cousins.
became. Yeah, but like
Well,
they are because he said they opened it up saying like you have more cousins.
Jose and Donald meet in Saludos Amigos.
Okay, but then what about Panchito?
He just pops up here. He just shows up. He's the third
See,
Caballero.
I kind of picture it like when you go to, like, family reunions as a kid and you meet all your, like, long-lost cousins.
Yeah, but you're not like besties with them immediately, where you're start forming a band.
No, but I feel like, I don't know, I interpreted it as, like, they've, like, grown up going to, like, these things together and, like, knew each other, but they live far away, and now they're, like, adults on their own, like, hanging
Okay,
out.
that makes sense.
And I know that's very intricate for
Yeah.
what this is, but that's just
Yeah.
how I interpret it.
that works. That works in my mind. That
Yeah, I'll buy it, whatever.
that works for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Panchito is a rooster, and unlike Jose, who represents Brazil and South America, he represents Mexico and Central America. The trio, for the first time, sing the Three Caballeros together. The song concludes with saying, although they're pals, if some Latin baby says yes, no, or maybe, it's every man for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused about the no part.
Or maybe. Yeah.
Like, what do you
Okay.
mean by that?
Fair.
Panchito has brought Donald a gift for his birthday. It's a piñata. Donald is taught that a piñata is the spirit of Christmas, introducing our next short.
I actually, okay, so before you get into
seems
this,
so random.
I was like wondering, and I didn't look it up, I should have, but I was like, I wonder if that's really the history behind piñatas. I don't know.
I mean, I would assume so. I don't know why they would just, like, make that up for this.
you don't know why Americans in 1944 would just make shit up about another culture.
But I'm just saying, they spent the whole 40-minute movie going to... Well, they went to Brazil. They didn't go to Mexico. Shit. I don't know. Look it up, Hills.
Piñatas, a staple in Christmas traditions.
See? You don't give enough credit to
It
Disney.
says...
You're right, I don't.
So then why do they use
First,
them
you
at
need to
birthday
know that
parties?
piñatas for Christmas are constructed months ahead of the holiday season, and they are the key for posados, or posadas.
Mm-hmm.
Those are parties fueled by music and food and kids breaking piñatas. Wait, but I saw something before I clicked on this link. It said the way that piñata is broken, blindfolded, symbolizes faith in Christ. I don't know how, but that's what it says.
Well, people who are, like, I think Mexico is, well, now, is very Catholic.
Yes.
So I think that maybe, like, they took it from, like, being the Christmas tradition and they implemented it in birthday parties because of, like, their religious, like, base. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
In Mexico, they sing La Posadas. The story is told through still image drawings of children reenacting the journey of Mary and Joseph searching for a room at the inn. A different story than Michael Scott was looking for a room at the inn and was denied. The children gather at the church and travel house to house with images of saints. They sing their plea for shelter, and a reply comes from within.
No!
No. Get out.
Yeah, they're like, get the fuck out, you peasant.
Exactly. They try again, and they receive the same message over and over until they reach a friendly house with an open door. The children are invited inside to celebrate and feast together. The biggest celebration of all is the breaking of the piñata.
Love is an open door.
Yes. We come back to the trio where Panchito tells Donald it's now his turn to break the piñata. The pair blindfold him, and every time he attempts to swing, they pull the piñata up, causing him to miss.
Rude.
Yeah. Eventually, the piñata is broken by Donald, and gifts come pouring out. No candy, though, like normal piñatas today. Panchito then opens up a book titled Mexico that Donald received. He teaches them about the story of the Mexican flag.
Mexico.
This was interesting.
I thought that was cool.
This was kind of interesting.
I don't know how true it is.
No, I looked it up.
It
Oh,
is.
it is true?
It's true. They drained the lake.
That's really cool.
And I never actually...
It's not cool they drained the lake, but the story behind it is cool.
Yeah.
I never actually realized what was on the center of the Mexican
Yeah.
flag. I knew there was something there, but I never...
Yeah.
The god of the Aztecs commanded them to build a big city where they would find an eagle destroying a serpent.
Snake.
The snake, yeah. They did find this, but they found it on top of a cactus on top of a rock in the middle of a lake. They still built the city there on the lake, and today it's the place of Mexico City.
I must have had really good eyesight to see that.
Really patient bird, too.
Yeah.
We get drawings depicting Mexico while a man sings, Mexico with all your romance, your song of love, and will live forever after. After the song concludes, Panchito invites the other two on a tour of Mexico on the Magic Serape.
Which, if you look at the map at the end of the ride, a lot of those places are on the map. And I always wondered, like, why are so many of them, like, in, like, Veracruz and, I can't pronounce it. Acapulco?
Acapulco.
Okay.
Acapulco.
Yeah.
That place. Like, why they're, like, bigger on the map. I was like, that's not the capital.
Yeah.
Like, why do, now it makes sense.
Magic Serape. Serape is like a long blanket or a shawl or a cloak that you would wear. The three hop on the Serape, which carries them into the book. They
so
fly.
basically, it's just a Mexican magic carpet.
It's a magic carpet, yeah, like from Aladdin.
Yeah.
The three,
Yeah, because there was no hole in it to like put your head like a poncho. It's like a poncho, right? Because that's how they wore it.
you would wear it like a shawl.
Oh,
or
like a
cloak.
shawl, so
Yeah,
never
so your
mind.
head wouldn't go through it.
Okay.
Yeah. The three hop on the Serape, which carries them into the book, and they fly over different live-action landscapes of Mexico, similar how they do on the ride. Panchito brings them back out of the book and shows them another page of traditional Mexican dancing. The Jarabe Panteno is what it's called. Then the Serape brings them back into the book and takes them across Mexico to Veracruz. The map that they fly over, like you said, Victoria, looks exactly like at the end of the ride. Mm-hmm. It's the same one. In Veracruz, the three watch people dancing the Lilongo is what it's called.
Well, they watch women dancing the Lilongo.
That is true. Donald attempts to cut in with the women dancers and perform his dancing, which is kind of like roaring 20s swing dancing almost. And he and the lady that he's dancing with, they share a dance together. Panchito wrangles up the boys to take them to the next spot, much to Donald's protest, as he wants to stay with the ladies.
Always with the ladies.
But little did he know where he was going to. Because Donald's been lusting all throughout this movie.
Yeah, he's one horny duck.
He is, and his next stop is a beach in Acapulco.
Was that a real beach? Or was it just
No, actually,
a fake beach? I was trying to look at the backdrops. It didn't look like it was real.
no, I
tell.
think there was one scene that they shot on, like, in a studio, like, in the U.S. It might have been this, actually, now that you mention it.
The animation for this I thought was kind of interesting because at first I'm like, oh, it's just the same animation like that they've done with everything because it's like the live action people on the beach with Donald. And sure, he wasn't making footprints in the sand or anything like that, which bothered me. But then when they were tossing him up in the blanket,
that was really cool.
I was like,
Yeah.
how are they doing that?
Oh, well, do you want to know?
Yeah.
So they had like an actual item
Uh-huh.
that they were tossing up and down to have it weighted when it landed in there, and then they just animated over it. Every single frame.
Yeah, I was like looking so closely
Yeah.
when Donald would appear. I'm like,
Yeah.
is he there? Can you see him?
Yeah, no, they did a good job.
It was
Yeah.
got, like, a magnifying
I was-
glass up to the
I
TV.
thought that scene was done very well.
Yeah.
That's one that stuck out to me. I was impressed by it.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, especially for like that time.
Yeah.
So, we arrive at this beach. There's hundreds of young ladies in their 1940s bathing suit,
Which
relaxing
are
and
super
sunbathing.
cute, by the way. I like those bathing suits.
You know what?
You know who else like those bathing suits? Donald and the boys like those bathing
Donald
suits.
really did like those bathing suits.
So they're perving through binoculars, and they make a dash to the beach. Donald does.
Notably, it's all women on the beach.
Only
Yeah.
women.
There are no men.
No men on this beach. Donald gets loose and makes his way down to the beach where he is playing this game with a whole bunch of girls. He's blindfolded and is like chasing all the girls around with his hands out, just trying to grab onto any woman he can
Anybody.
find. They-
Anyone that'll take him.
yeah, they tease him by tapping his head and running away. It's like Marco Polo, just with no water, basically, and the prize is women. Donald at one point says, "Come here, my little enchilada," while chasing all
At least
the
he
women.
didn't call him a burrito.
Yeah, that's weird though.
Yeah, this is where he gets launched up into the air with the blanket as they're they're holding him. Donald continues chasing them all around the beach before the girls are saved by the other caballeros, who grab Donald and pull him out of there back on the magic serape, and Donald angrily squawks as they fly away.
Yeah, and then he tries to climb back into the picture.
Yeah,
he does.
and Jose or Panchito, one of them, is like, "Get back here, you bumbling idiot."
Yep.
All right, this is the home stretch. This is where it really starts to get boring.
This is where Alex tapped out the first
Yeah.
time.
I think, like before this, honestly.
So Panchito next shows them nightlife of Mexico City as a woman's voice and face appears singing the next song, "You Belong to My Heart." This is Dora Luz singing. She's a Mexican singer and recording artist. She recorded Destino, the Disney and Salvador Dali short. Remember, it plays in like the lobby of Grand Destino Tower. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I feel it, but I would have to see it.
Okay, the song that's in that, this is her as well.
Okay.
She sings of Mexico City's beauty, and Donald falls in love again. Donald dances and floats among the stars and the moon with the song. This is very like Fantasia-esque.
Yeah.
Almost.
Wait, which one? Did we miss the scene where it's like? No, we did. We missed it because one thing that I did think was extremely Fantasia-esque is when it's like a line in the middle of the screen and the
Oh,
music
that's when
is playing.
Panchito appears.
Yeah, that it was like straight out of Fantasia. Because
Yeah, the
remember when they
opening-
had the line and they did the
Yeah.
music thing, like, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, and it is like set to like the Three Caballeros song, and that's when
Yeah.
Panchito comes out.
yes.
Then it turns into Donald's surreal reverie. It gets kind of psychedelic here with the other caballeros like randomly cutting into the place of the women, like their heads on their bodies while they're dancing.
Yeah.
Different color images, surreal depictions, Dora loses face inside of flowers. Eventually it transitions to live action again with Donald on a stage with cacti all around him.
Yeah, that was weird. Sorry.
I
just
just
sent
looked up
that.
and all three of you are on your phone.
I just sent that to you so that you would have it.
Yeah.
Vicky's flight was missing, so I checked to see if mine was there, and it was, and I screenshot it and sent it to her so she'd have the confirmation. And then my sister's talking about how my nephew was lost in Target, so I'm just reading that.
And Alex
Sorry.
is just living her best life over there.
It's Cleo as a baby.
She's looking at pictures of her cat.
Oh, look at her little face.
Donald's on stage with cactuses all around him, cacti. One of the cacti dances in the distance, and its shape turns into that of a woman, and it's Dora again.
I hated this segment. This was weird. This was equivalent to Elephants on Parade, honestly.
You want to go off on this?
This
for a
is
little
what
bit?
was on when Alex got here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's in a sombrero. She's got cowboy boots on. She's dancing the Jessica in Chihuahua, a trademarked song from the Mexican Revolution.
Okay.
Yeah. The
Well,
scene.
she can keep it because it was a terrible, weird segment, and like the song was fine. It wasn't that. It was just the weird. It was the cacti.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I mean, there's really not a lot going on here. She's just dancing with Donald as she turns back and forth into like a cactus. Which sounds weird out of context, but that's what happens. After dancing for some time, she fades off into the distance, turning back into a cactus before Donald can reach her. Panchito and Jose make their return and decide to spice up the finale. Donald... Yeah.
Sorry.
Donald ends up battling the same toy bull with wheels on its legs that he got earlier in his gifts from the piñata. Except the bull is loaded with fireworks that Jose lights. All the fireworks go off with Donald inside, and the two collide, sending all the fireworks up into the sky, celebrating the end of the film.
Yay.
The fireworks explode, Finn in the colors of the Mexican flag, Finn in the colors of the Brazilian flag, and then finally the end in the colors of the American flag.
Wait, but we didn't talk about the weird lady in the flower.
Yeah, at the
Oh,
very
well, her
end.
face kept appearing in
Where
the
And it was
Alex
so-
is laying here watching. She's like, I feel like I'm in a fever dream.
Yeah.
It did. It
Because
was bizarre.
It was so fucking weird, and also it was the most boring song. I was like, oh my god, I want to die a little.
Yeah.
And then she's like animated in the flower, and then like there's this other chick who has like a fucking flower costume on her head, and I don't know.
This is the same woman over and over again.
Yeah,
though.
I know, but it was so weird. I didn't like
Even
it.
Donald, he had his face through a flower, but the rest of his body was just hanging out outside
Yeah.
the flower. It was fucking
It
weird.
was weird. It was very weird. And there was something you said yesterday that I told you last night, and you said, do you want to save it for tomorrow? Do you think Hillary will remember to say it? And I said, if she doesn't say it, then I'll remember and I'll remind her to say it.
What did I...
I don't know. Now I gotta look.
was it? Or was it Alex? Because Alex was watching it, and Alex was like, what the fuck, I hate this. That's about the frog.
Oh, I hated the whole thing. I was like, this is stupid as fuck. And then towards the end, I fell asleep. And then when I woke up and I tried to rewind a little and put it back on, I just kept falling asleep. And I was like, I give up. You know, I can only do so much.
Can't blame you, Alex.
Oh, you had said that you thought the animation in the ride was better than
Oh,
the movie.
yes. I did say that. And then I took it back, and I think that the animation in the movie is better than the ride.
Okay.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, I just said that, but you know what? I think I take it back. What do you have to say about that?
I thought that it was better in the ride than in the movie.
I think that,
Well, that
like,
would make
okay,
sense.
the animation in the movie, the animation in the ride is better, but the actors in the movie interacted with the animation better.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
they
a
did.
low bar, Hillary.
No,
Some
but
of that
they
acting
did.
on that ride.
Yeah, well, because the actors, or maybe it was like
No, she's saying the movie is better.
movie-
I know, I'm saying that's
actors-
a low bar, though.
Yeah, like the actors were looking at Donald, which obviously isn't. There's really nobody there,
Yeah.
and then it made it seem like it was. Whereas in the ride, the cook with the knife is looking at like Jose and Panchito, who was sharpening his knives, and he's like looking at the fucking sun.
Yeah.
and they're
Or the waiter who does the whole, like, head spin. Like,
yeah,
whoa.
Yeah.
Like, so the animation is like better quality wise, but the actors aren't as like, I don't know. It was even more believable when Yaya was kissing Donald.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, does anyone have any closing thoughts on this?
I never want to watch this again.
This
but-
was
fair.
so bad.
But I am excited to go on the ride in the Epcot, Mexico Pavilion in Epcot.
Yeah.
And see what I noticed from the movie.
I agree.
I feel like it's interesting that they chose this movie to be in Mexico because it was like Brazil and Mexico.
Well, they don't have Brazil.
I know, but I just thought it was interesting.
I don't know, like, I think it's kind of really hard to, like, rate this movie, because, like, it serves as, like...
It's not a movie.
Yeah, but it serves as, like, I don't know what the word is, to, like for the strengthen the relationships between South America and Central America.
But was this the only thing that they ever did to do that?
Well, they did Saludos Amigos. They did, like, something like 6 different, like, package films, they're called.
Okay.
It's a fancy way of saying they're just a bunch of shorts wrapped up in a movie. It's like
Yeah.
they don't want to do shorts
So to
anymore.
me, that seems pretty half-assed.
It just seems more like a commercial,
Yeah.
like advertising the cultures.
That's what it felt like.
I think that's the biggest issue that I have, is that there's just no story, really. It's like Donald and his birthday, but, like, you know, it's really just an advertisement more. It's like those commercials you see on TV, like advertising to go to, you know, come visit the Bahamas or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just very similar in that vein.
Yeah.
And I could see why critics weren't too, like, audiences weren't in favor of it.
Yeah.
Because they probably were expecting something similar to, like, Dumbo, you know, Bambi, something along those lines, and then they get this film that's just not really, there's no story there,
I
really.
agree.
I feel like this is like a vlog, not a movie.
Yeah.
Like there's no storyline to it.
Yeah.
You're just watching these.
I kind of wish they
Birds.
just combined the two. Not, like, at length and make it 2 hours, but, like, it seemed like one was really not needed, and
Yeah.
somehow,
The first.
like, Saludos Amigos even more unnecessary.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. What was the purpose of the first gift? There was none. To talk about a fake penguin, a boy with a flying donkey, which I'm sure probably is some kind of, like, Mexican tale. If
The
it was
penguin
Mexico.
story really just feels like a short that they had that they
That
just
there's,
decided to
like,
throw in
it's
there.
It's a bird. Sure. It's a
Yeah.
bird.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I didn't hate this, but I probably will never watch it again.
No, I will never watch it.
I don't think I have any desire to ever watch this
And
ever
I
again.
will
in my life.
not recommend.
I don't even
10
know
out
why
of-
you would.
0 out of 10 recommend.
Yeah.
Right.